The following podcast contains explicit language.
All right, folks, thanks again for joining us. This is Paul Wilson.
And I'm Danny Voss.
And we're here with the Diesel Performance Podcast, joined today by Dwight Kroon. Dwight, how's it going?
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Dwight, I'm really happy to have you here. You've been a huge person on Facebook, I feel. I can't remember a Cummins post on Cummins Forum, Cummins anything else tag as far as a Facebook group goes that you don't comment on, which I love to see the interaction from somebody in the industry.
Yeah, we see on Facebook, but let me ask you, where are you calling from?
I'm in Virginia, Manassas, Virginia.
Yeah, and what do you do for a living?
I'm a site engineer at a data center.
What, are you going to date him, Danny?
Hey, I'm over here selling truck tunes all day long. I want to know what other people are doing with their lives.
I hear you.
That's right.
Okay, so Dwight, we got you on the episode today so we could talk pretty much about your build. I don't know that you really are going to need a ton of advice. You've taken this thing from stock to badass, and I think we really are just excited to dive in and talk a little bit about it. Give us the rundown, man. What do you got?
It's a 06 single cab truck. You know, it's two-tone, grandpa looking. It's the way I like to keep it, street sleeper.
Love it.
The street sweeper, huh?
What's that?
Did you just say the street sweeper?
The street sleeper.
Oh, sleeper. I was laughing.
Sleeper.
Okay, either way, it was a good name.
Yeah, we'll go with it. But, yeah, it's a 06 that did a full build on, Gorilla rods, stock replacement pistons, nothing crazy there. Hamilton cam, rebuilt head, nothing crazy, no porting or nothing yet. Studded, main girdle. Tried to spend the money in the right areas to make it strong. Just some 250 over, not 250 over, 250 horse injectors. Had Levon at Pirate Punk build me a twin kit, running a 63 over an 80. And Tim, TRE, did the trans. I just look forward to making it to Rudy's this year. I really want to get in there and compete and have a good time.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Rudy's, and I see you got a lot done in your truck. Can you explain to our listeners what Rudy's is?
It's an awesome event, diesel event. You've got sled pulling, dyno, 8th mile drag racing, and just a good time, man. A lot of good people, a lot of heavy hitters, the best of the best go there pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truck jam. Yeah, I've got to attend it. I think I've made 2 fall and maybe 1 spring so far.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yep. We're going to have a whole episode on what is the coolest event to go to.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a lot about that, and we'll definitely touch on Rudy's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right, cool. So you've taken this from stock to here. How long did the build take you?
It was a 13-month build. It was 13 months, yeah. It took a while. For a while there, I had 2 trucks, so I had to, take the stock parts off the 06 truck and put them on the 03 truck to sell, so I could get that truck going, man. I can't hardly afford 1, let alone 2, so, I had to let the 03 go. But, it's going pretty good now. I just pulled the turbo off my 63, sent it out to Johnny at Stainless to get it rebuilt, so when it gets back, I'll be ready to roll.
Was it having problems?
Yeah, it was a used unit that I got, and it was the seal was leaking a little bit, so
no big deal.
And it did touch down a little bit, so we're gonna get that corrected.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get it dialed in, those 63s have been pretty good. How do you like the drivability on it for anybody considering that type of a setup?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's really good setup. It drives pretty much stock. It really does.
I mean, you daily drive this thing, you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so usually when I'm comparing lag in a turbo, I try not to do it at the strip, or I try not to do it when I'm wide open throttle, because it's really easy to get a blurred line there. How I usually try to measure it is when I'm in the drive-through. I'm stop, go, short distances. You can tell the difference of when you go to move 1 car length if your turbo works, or if it's not even close to creating boost. Do you feel like you still?
Comes right on. There's no issue for sure.
Oh, I love it.
The only way I'll judge you is if you tell me what drive-thru you were in. If you were at Starbucks, where were you at? You don't have to go there.
The Diesel Performance Podcast will return in just a moment, but first we want to talk about our sponsor, Calibrated Power Solutions of Marengo, Illinois. Calibrated Power Solutions is the home of DuramaxTuner.com and developers of performance engine and transmission calibrations for a wide variety of diesel powertrains, including, of course, the Duramax, Cummins, John Deere, Jeep, TDI, and many more. For more information and the best customer service in the industry, check out calibratedpower.com or call 815-568-7920. That's 815-568-7920.
Yeah, I was at Starbucks and I was getting a frappe. What are you trying to say, Danny? You got a problem with that? No, we're just playing. We're just playing. Yeah. Okay. So you daily drive this thing. I mean, I'm looking at it. Have you put it on the rollers?
I haven't. I got the truck running, I don't know, October, November. I drove it down to Fall Rudy's just to put some miles on it and have some fun, and I brought it back, got it back home, and I think the next weekend I took it to the track and made a pass and just destroyed the trans. But, it still made a full pass. It just ate everything on the way there, you know what I mean?
It just didn't make it back the return line. I hear you.
I did. I made it return road, but it was doing some weird stuff, and it broke. But it went 11-11 at 128. Basically with just blowing through second gear, there was like nothing. But once I got the converter to finally lock and get third and overdrive, she was pulling pretty good.
Badass. 11-11 at 128. That's cooking.
Yeah, that's first pass, first time out. It'll go 10, so I'm not worried about it. Get some good parts in there, and we'll get it going.
Fire puncted the turbo kit. Is that who you're sending the trans to?
No, actually, Tim Barber at TRE does my transmission. Yeah, and I'm real happy with it. We did a fat shaft upgrade, DPC converter, stock stall, speed, and I'm gonna leave a little room for upgraded turbos later on, if you will.
I mean, I got to imagine you're in the high 700s, mid 800s, somewhere in that ballpark, depending on dyno and day and everything else. I assume we're running like a 12 mil or a 10 mil or dual CP3s behind this.
Dual pumps.
Dual pumps, dual stock pumps.
Dual stock pumps. Yep.
Okay. I mean, are you going to shoot for 1,000 next?
Yeah. It's pretty close. I think it's in the 900 range right now, I would say. I got to shred a little weight. Somebody put a gooseneck in the back of that thing before I ever bought it, and they welded this monster frame in there like some homemade stuff, and I bet you thing's 200 pounds. So
there goes
pull
the 10.
that out,
yeah,
and see what it does from there. But yeah, I'm looking to do some more fuel. Put probably some 200 over injectors. Possibly step up to 400 base setup later on, but we'll see.
I mean, you start to lose some of the
63.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is you start to lose some of the drivability as you go beyond this. I mean, drag racing, you're totally right. This is a badass setup. I have no doubts. It'll get to the time slip you're looking for. As you start to increase that high-pressure charger, you start to lose that daily driver application.
Yeah.
Are you thinking this is going to go to Trailer Queen and just be a race car?
No, never. Never.
I don't care how smoky it is. I'm driving it.
I wouldn't go crazy on the high pressure. Maybe just a 464. Just nothing too crazy.
Right.
But it drives great. Gordon at Innovative did a real good job on getting this thing tuned. It's clean. It's if you want to drive normal and no one knows you got anything done to it, she's clean. It goes good. It's not it ain't a smoky shit wagon. I really like it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really excited. How about nitrous? Have you thought about giving it some spray and pray?
Yeah, well, we'll get there.
Yeah, you can put her on the jizz.
Yeah, we'll get her there. I can't show all my cards.
I hear you there. Okay, so what's next? What events do you plan on going to this year with it? Where should people be looking for you?
I'm going to go to Rudy's, spring and fall. I'll do Numidia, with the Motorsport Diesel. They do the deal up there. New Jersey, up at E-Town for the XDP. They do that truck event up there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they have the open house the next day, which I like going to. And then Mike Graves at Holly Rock Customs
Great guy.
puts on he puts on, I think, 2 races a month at our local track, which is a strictly diesel. It's a diesel class, and man, we get 50, 60 trucks every weekend.
Wow.
To this event, which is great.
What kind of racing are you doing? Are you bracket racing? Are you
It's
just
a bracket race,
Okay.
But it's fun, It's I go, even if my truck's not running, I go support the event. It's just a good. It's a good thing he does. He does a lot for the sport locally.
Yeah,
He
you
really
guys-
does.
Say that.
You guys get together, share some fellowship, maybe have a
Yeah.
few beers and have fun.
Yeah, we sip on the bubbly.
I got to meet Michael Graves actually at Rudy's, I want to say about 2 years ago. Great guy, badass triple turbo, quad
Yeah.
cab, short bed, LBZ. But yeah, no, really good guy. He was telling me a little bit about the event. I've talked to quite a few other people who have been out there or starting to hear about it. I love to
Yep.
hear that drag racing has taken off out east. It seems to be so much more popular in that kind of northeast region than sled pulling is out here by us in the Midwest, where
Yeah.
we get a few guys who will build a fast truck, but it's mostly street race, and they're fucking around trying to blow Camaros away. Anybody building a serious truck in the Midwest, no, I shouldn't say anybody. Most of the guys building serious badass horsepower in the Midwest are going out and hooking to a sled.
Yeah,
Which is
I can't
fun,
keep one
but-
together empty, so I'm not definitely gonna put no weight behind it.
I just think the 8th mile world is a lot different than the quarter mile world. We just don't have
It
that
is.
in our area, really. We're just used to quarter mile racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to, and I run stock wheels. I run Cooper all-terrains, stock size. I don't.
Wow.
You won't see 20s and all that. I won't put slicks on, not yet anyway. But I just keep it plain looking. I fly under the radar.
That's awesome.
That
How have
seems-
you done in the
yeah.
bracket races?
Bracket race, I do pretty good. Believe it or not, I do pretty good on the tree, and that's where a lot of your races are won in the diesel world.
I mean, that's what I love about bracket racing is it kind of is that great equalizer. Danny, you have a ton of racing experience. Why don't you explain bracket racing for our sled pull fans?
Bracket racing is a lot different than racing your buddy light to light.
Right.
You have to be very consistent. You have to know how your truck's doing that day. You also have to know your ability, and you have to have a great relationship with your truck or your vehicle that you're bracket racing. Anybody that has a consistent vehicle that can run the same exact thing every single time, male or female, that's going to be the winner. I don't care if you have a 10-second truck. If you can run that 10-second truck 10 seconds every single time, dialed in time, right on the dot, you're going to win some money. But chances are, the faster you get, the harder it is to stay consistent, and the harder it is to compete and to get to the finals. So, usually if you're into a street class and you're entering a street race at a drag strip, usually your Pontiac G6 will be the winner. Something that is unmodified, that is very consistent and can do and have the abuse
Of just
pass
hot
after
lap.
pass, yeah.
So how bracket racing works for our listeners is it's really simple. I write down an ET, which is an estimated time. Okay, so let's say my ET is 13 seconds flat. I line up against Dwight, who's running an 11:22. Dwight's ET is 11:22.
He's 11:11.
I'm sorry. You're totally correct.
Yeah.
I am a terrible person, Dwight. I apologize. Please don't hate me.
Yeah, fine.
So Dwight
We already
lines
do.
up.
We already do that enough.
Yeah, right. So Dwight lines up 11:11. I line up 13:0. So that means I will get to leave the tree before him. So my light will go green, and then the distance between our times is the delay that Dwight will leave. He's now chasing me down the track.
And the goal is to end at the same exact time at the stripe.
That's it.
If you guys are exactly on the money.
Without going faster than the
breaking
ETU
out.
provided, which is called breaking out. So bracket racing, like Dwight said, it comes down to the tree and the launch. Anybody can hold their foot flat That's usually not where you fuck it up. It's
right.
how can you go off that tree? Do you know your best 60-foot time off the top of your head?
Well, my one and only 60-foot was a 166.
Wow, that's awesome.
That is cooking. It's cooking.
It's pretty awesome.
Anytime you can get down into the 160s, you had a really good launch. You did the right thing.
I've seen, just to put it, against something else, your stock Corvette might be a 1.9 60-foot time, 1.8. Right. So 1.66 is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, that's killer.
Yeah,
that's launching.
It's pretty good, and my buddy Daniel McEwen, he's got a truck, tuned by you guys that he raced a lot for the past 3 years, and his truck has been a 159 60-foot.
That's damn good. That is damn good.
60 foot's like no other, and Bob tunes that truck. You guys are probably really familiar with it, and that truck had a lot of passes on it, and he won a lot of races. It was really fast, and it was a stock bottom end, 06 truck, just bolt-ons.
Yeah, I got to see it actually, and it is a badass truck. And I do want to give a shout out actually to Daniel McEwen. 13 likes on our page today. I went through and liked 13 different things. Love it, Daniel. Keep them coming.
That's right.
I don't feel stalked at all. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
That's my racing brother right there. We feed off each other. We go to the track together. It's if you see one, the other one's not far behind, if you know what I mean.
That's awesome. When you have a buddy keeping you into it and staying competitive with you and pushing you and giving you tips and working together, it makes it a lot easier to run with this sport and take off with it and really kind of feel that passion. We always love to hear that stuff.
Yep. But,
I always race against people that are better than me. It makes me a better racer. I always golf with people that are better golfers than me. It makes me a better golfer. It goes the same way for everything. It works that way.
That's funny. I've been doing the same thing, but only as an excuse to be terrible. No, I'm just kidding. That sounds awful. All right. Well,
your jokes are terrible.
I know. It's getting rough,
God,
man.
You need a beer or something.
Okay, so Dwight, tell me, I'm really interested in giving advice to other people. As we take a look here, you've had real success getting into diesel drag racing. If you've met somebody new to the game, somebody who just has a truck and they want to get started, what advice would you give them about diesel drag racing?
Spend your money one time. If you're gonna do a transmission, and you're gonna build it all the way. Don't go back into it 2 times, 3 times, and just do all 3 billet shafts. Buy the good converter. Do it the first time. Spend your money the first time right. I've done it. Everyone's done it, but a lot of times you can only do what you can afford, and you're going back into it. But you're putting that money into something 3 times.
Yeah.
It's
some people act like they're mad at their money.
Yeah. My wife says she almost wish I had a different addiction, but it's this diesel thing, and but yeah, spend your money one time. Don't go into something 2 and 3 times. That'll help you in the long run. Don't go cheap. Don't buy the cheap part. It costs. You pay in this industry. You pay for what you get.
Did you make any mistakes? Like, is there a specific reference we could give to people? Like, here's something I did. I know when I had my Kodiak Alac, which was my C4500 03 2-wheel drive, 12-foot bed as a daily driver. The worst thing I did was I put a used CP3 pump in instead of just buying a new one. Like, that was my dumbest, perfect example of what you're talking about here. Anything that you ran into where you went cheap and it ended up costing you?
I spent good money on transmissions, but I didn't have. I went local, and really, I recommend if you're doing a trans, outsource it to a popular builder, whether it's Tim, LeBon, somebody, Suncoast, somebody who's a reputable trans builder. A local guy can do you a fine job for probably a 400 horsepower truck, but there's tricks of the trade, and I don't know them. So go to somebody reputable if you're going to do a trans. Buy a good turbo, buy good injectors. It's going to save you in the long run.
Dwight, I do really want to say thank you for coming on the show today. I sincerely appreciate it. We want to keep having more guests on to talk about
I could probably die today and be fine with that after being on the show.
That's awesome. Don't go and do that.
Well, I think we need to see some
I'm
better
not going
times out of you before you pull that one on us. We need to see some 10-0s.
We're gonna get some 10-second time slips this year, and I'm gonna do a lot of videos and post them up, Instagram, Facebook, and that kind of thing,
you promised our listeners that you're going to be at Rudy's, so don't go dying on us. You got to be at Rudy's. But
man, we're going to be there.
Why don't you tell our listeners how to follow you? What's your handle?
On Instagram, it's dkroon1234, and on Facebook, it's Dwight Kroon Jr. And we're also on Virginia Diesel Nation on Facebook and Virginia Coal Rollers.
Awesome. Well, Dwight, we're going to make sure we link back to something for you here in our show notes.
Sure.
He also wants everybody to know that he made an awesome video, from my understanding, of the entire build of his truck. I'm really into build threads on the old forum style. I love that people are starting to do build videos. So, again, thank you for that. We'll make sure we link back to that in our show notes.
Sure. Sounds great.
Excellent. Everybody, I want to say thank you very much for listening. We checked out podcastchart.com, number 6 in the automotive section. iTunes charts have us probably in the top 50 or so. We fluctuate quite a bit over there. But we have just really had an explosion with this. Once again, thanks for listening. I'm Paul.
And I'm Danny.
And that was Dwight.
I'm Dwight.
Have a great night.
The Diesel Performance Podcast is brought to you by Calibrated Power Solutions, home of DuramaxTuner.com, developer of performance engine and transmission calibrations for a wide variety of late model diesel powertrains, including the Duramax, Cummins, John Deere, Jeep, and many more. For more information and the best customer service in the industry, check out calibratedpower.com or call 815-568-7920.